Hi, my name is Lisa Higgins, and I am a medical intuitive. Now, normally I introduce myself as a lymphedema therapist. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about what medical intuition is, because a lot of you will probably never have heard the term. And I'd like to explain the difference between medical intuition and intuition. So if you've been to see me, you know that I work very intuitively all the time. I don't necessarily stick to the regimented ways that I've been taught for doing lymphatic drainage. I go with my intuition. I go where I feel I need to go. And that's on the physical aspect. But also, I tend to talk about things that are going on for people emotionally or mentally. And I certainly talk about things like what they're eating nutritionally, their exercise. These are all not necessarily things that are covered in lymphatic drainage, but they're things that I bring into all of my treatments because I think it's important to look at the whole picture, not just the physical aspect. So people are familiar with me being intuitive, and sometimes they say, oh, well, can we include some of that medical intuitive stuff you've been talking about over the last year and a half? Can we do some of that in our session today? And I have to say no, because even though I work very intuitively all the time, medical intuition is different. And if you're coming in to see me for a medical intuitive session, then you're not going to be getting on my table. And we're not necessarily going to be talking about lymphedema or lymphatic drainage, though we might. That may be part of the solution that we talk about. But that's not the focus. So in a medical intuitive reading, what we are doing is completely different. I'm using both my physical knowledge of anatomy, physiology, and pathology, as I would in a normal lymphatic drainage session. But I'm also using my non-local information. So I'm using my intuition. That's all that means. I'm using my senses. And for me, it's generally I feel things and I see things. And, it's not like I see dead people, because I don't. I kind of wish I did, but I don't. But what I sometimes see is an area of the body will light up. And I know that, oh, okay, something's going on here that we need to look at or at least talk about. And so what I've done over the last year and a half in my training is that I have developed those skills, those non-local skills, the intuition, to a point where I can actually look into your body to see what is out of alignment. I know that sounds just completely fantastic and a bit out of this world, but really it is quantum physics. And there's research, oodles of research, and I'm not going to go into all of the research. I will talk about one of my favorite little studies that it blows my mind. So there was an experiment done in 1993 where cells were taken from someone and placed in another room. So put in a little petri dish and carried to the room next door and measured. So everything, we all have an electrical frequency that is measurable with equipment that, NASA has, and lots of different people have. A lot of medical places can measure the frequency or the electrical activity. So this specimen was measured, and then the person it was taken from was shown photos, and different photos, so happy photos, sad photos, kind of gory photos that would elicit an emotional reaction. And each time they were shown a different photo, the cells in the other room were measured to see if there was a change in their charge, a change in their frequency. And every single time the subject was shown a photo, the cells had a change in frequency at exactly the same time, instantaneously. They even redid this test, taking those cells overseas, as far away as they could possibly get them, and redid the test with the subject in a room, the cells in another country, checking the changes in frequency when the subject was shown different photos, exactly the same thing. So what the conclusion was is our cells are affected by our emotions. And so what we take from that is that the language of the universe is emotion. And if you want to take this, and I won't really go any further into this, what that sort of says is that when those cells were in that body, even though they were separated, those cells still have a connection to that body. So if you want to really blow your mind, if you think of, they're saying that we came from the Big Bang Theory where there was this mass of structure and that it blew and created the universe. So if you think of it in those terms, we were all this little mass that's exploded out. And so on some level, we are all connected. How fun is that? Now, if you'd like to read more about all of those experiments, there's lots written, but I'd suggest reading The Divine Matrix, written by Greg Braden. It's understandable, digestible, and, it's a fascinating read. Okay, so I'm going to leave that behind because I don't want to go any more into the science because, you could really nerd out on that. And what I want to explain is what a session looks like when you come in for a medical intuition session. So you can have it in person or over the internet. You can have it via Zoom or Skype, whatever. It's helpful to have a video so that there's eye contact. And so that I can see what's going on for you and you can see things that I'm showing. So video definitely helps, though it's not 100% necessary. It's much better to have video. So we meet up like I'm talking to you. We have a chit chat and a little get to know you type thing. I don't need to have ever met you. I don't need your medical history. In fact, sometimes that's a hindrance because that's just giving me information that then draws me in ways that may not be relevant. And we start with a little bit of a guided visualization. So I guide you through a grounding meditation, a bit of breath work, grounding, just to calm you down, bring you into a nice, quiet state. And once you're there, I do a few little breaths and ground myself again. And at that stage, I'm able literally to have a scan of your body, to look in and see where you are out of alignment. And that may look like me looking at you, I'll be closing my eyes and having a look with my inner vision, with my intuition, and seeing sometimes things light up. So I may see colors or bright white lights or darkness or, and none of those have necessarily a significant good or bad. It's just that I'm being drawn to an area that needs to be looked at. So I will tell you where I'm drawn to initially, mainly so that you can then focus your attention there. So for example, it's your left knee. So I'd say, what I'm seeing is your left knee is lighting up. It's a little bit red, or blue or pink, whatever color, it doesn't matter. And so if you just kind of focus your attention there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some more information because this is a joint experience. I'm not going in and healing you. I can't heal you. Only you can heal you. What I am doing is I am facilitating your work. So I'm showing you where you are out of alignment, giving you as much information as I can. So we go back in and there may be more to do with the color, the size, the shape, whether it's got a sharp feeling, a dull feeling, whether it's old or new, or whether it's an injury that you had 10 years ago or an injury you have now or something that may be coming in the next year or 6 weeks or whatever. It's just a reading of what your body has to say. And then we look at the physical aspects, but then the emotional and mental and spiritual aspects. Now, I'll be drawing on both my physical knowledge, the anatomy, physiology, and pathology, but then bringing in the intuitive side to look at the emotion, mental, and spiritual aspects. And it may be that it's appropriate to do some sort of release, and that can look a bit like breathing. It can be talking about it, that may be all it needs, or it could be tapping or a visualization, any number of things. I mean, there's lots of different potentials for that. Then I'd scan some more and see whether there are other areas that need attention and whether those are related to the first, because there may be a theme. And, for example, the theme may be that you're feeling unsupported. And that could be at work, at home, with family, any number of things, just out in the community. This whole fear that's going on out with the situation in the global scene right now, that's making a lot of people feel unsafe. So, a lot of the ailments that we're seeing could be to do with safety, with not feeling protected, not feeling in control. It could be anything. So we scan the whole body and going all the way up to the energetic aspect of the self. So not just the physical, and getting as much information as we can, and then deciding on what release is appropriate. And, you could end up going away with a new eating plan, or a new exercise plan, or some mantras to say every day, or a meditation, or a suggestion that, okay, how about you go out and sit down at the beach every day for 5 minutes and put your feet in the sand? Or make sure that every day you do something really nice for yourself. Or drink more water. So it can be really practical. It doesn't have to be all this, go and nurture yourself and get in nature. There's really practical information that you get to take away with you and bring into your life to implement change. So this isn't a sit and listen kind of thing. This is participatory. That's a good word. We are doing this together because really it's you who's doing the work. I'm just letting you know what needs to be done. And this can be a one-off session. This can be part of a number of sessions if you're trying to get on top of where you're really out of alignment, if you have some things going on and it's just time to make change. Or it can be part of a package. So, for example, I've created for my lymphedema or lipedema clients, it doesn't have to be an either or thing. These two things can work together, and I think they work really well in a package of sessions. So I've created a package where we have a medical intuitive session, we have a lymphatic drainage session, or if you are in another country or just not able to get into me, we can have a Zoom session where we talk about what your needs are. You can question and how to use self-drainage, which is all about self-care and reconnecting with yourself. Then there's a follow-up medical intuitive session. There's a session on nutrition. There are videos on self-care, on toxins, on various different aspects of how you can make change in your life. And we spread that over a period of 6 weeks. Or longer. It depends on what you have going on in your life. So the two things can work really well together, just not in the same session. But we can create something that is adaptable for your needs. Or we can just do medical intuition and see where that takes us. So it's a really exciting way of looking at what's going on in your body, because what we have at the moment is a system with medicine, which, hey, medicine is amazing and hospitals are fantastic. And, if you've got cancer and you do the treatment, you get cured of cancer. And that is amazing. Hands down, I can't take anything away from that. But you can say that you're cured of cancer, but do you feel healed? Do you think that what caused the cancer in the first place, or what led up to you getting cancer, do you feel that that's been dealt with? Because sometimes I really don't think that the medical arena is the place for dealing with that. And granted, there are some cancer places that are amazing, and you get sessions with body workers and acupuncture and talkie therapy, and to those places that do that, amazing. That is the way it should be. But I think most of us find that, when we go through the medical system, that it's all just physical. And if something can't be found, if you've got pain or dysfunction and you've had every test known to man and you can't find a physical reason for that, then I'd be betting that there is an emotional, mental, or spiritual reason behind it. And that is where medical intuition really comes into the fore. I hope that has helped. If you have any questions, get in touch with me. You can go onto my website and send me a message at lisahiggins.com.au.